Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 family. Follow us on Twitter at CheatersInVRPin. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC. Well, hello, everybody. Oh, God. Damn, I'm hot. All right. Anyway, welcome to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast.
You right there, JC?
Yeah, I'm a little drunk. It's ACC tournament week here in North Carolina, Tom.
Well, not actually in North Carolina. We're watching in North Carolina because we have horrible laws.
Well, this was already supposed to be in Brooklyn. It was already scheduled to be there.
I'm blaming it on
HB2. There you go.
Not HBK. That's what we talk about normally on the
Right.
Cheaters Never Pin podcast.
Those damn HBK laws.
Yeah.
Gonna super kick everybody.
Sweet chin music in every elevator.
Yeah, but this is the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. I'm JC, and next to me here at the announce desk is Tom, Mr. Workrate.
Yeah, that's me. It's the two of us. We're moderately, well, I was going to say we're moderately sober, but I'm moderately sober, I guess.
You are, I'm not. Since it's the tournament's still playing on my television, by the way.
I did not go to an ACC school, so...
I did. For better or worse.
I have no dog in this race.
My dog just lost. My dog's been dead for fucking 20 years. I just admitted it out loud. Jesus. Anyway, you're not here for basketball talk. You're here for wrestling.
Is anyone here at all? I mean,
no. Hey, we had a record number of downloads last week. So to everyone that listens to the show and supports us by tweeting us, thank you. And if you want to support us in the same way, you can get at us at Cheaters Never Pin on Twitter, CheatersInVRPin. You can find us on Facebook. You can give us a big blue thumbs up there. We have a website, too, where Tom has started writing retro wrestling reports. What was the last one again, Tom?
The last one was the 1996 Royal Rumble, which was a just menagerie of random wrestlers signed for like one day that Vince just decided to stick on a jet, bring in, do a job, and send away, never to be seen again.
Yeah. So that article, your review of that 20 years later, is up on cheatersneverpin.com. You can find it there. Let's see. You can also, if you download us in iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. Please give us all the 5 stars. B. Meltzer for a day. Give us 5 stars.
There's a shiny nickel in it for you if we see you in person.
There's not. I don't carry change. I was expecting another line there. All right. Anyway.
I don't know how to respond to that. That was just a random fact. I thought like, oh, that's good to know. And I made a note in my little notepad that I have when we do the podcast.
You can also find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spreaker, and TuneIn. We're on all those platforms. You can find us, and hopefully soon we're submitted to iHeartRadio, so hopefully we'll be there as well if they find us suitable for their platform.
Is that the Christian radio one?
It is not.
Oh.
So you can find us on all those platforms. And hey, something new, Tom.
Oh, I like new things.
Do you shop on the Amazon, Tom?
I have purchased things through Amazon. I have complained to them about other things, but that's regardless. Everyone buys things on Amazon. Right. What are you talking about, JC?
Well, if you buy things on Amazon.com, I'm going to ask you to do me one small favor here. To help support this podcast, as well as Cheaters Never Win, our hockey cohorts over in the Section 328 main headquarters. If you go
office.
If you go to section328.com, there's a big button on the front of the website that says buy on Amazon. Click that, do your normal shopping through Amazon, It doesn't cost you an extra dime, but it kicks back a few pennies back into our coffers to support the cost of doing these shows and running the websites for you guys. So just go to section328.com, click buy on Amazon, and bookmark that. So every time you go to Amazon, just click that bookmark, and we'll get a little kickback, and I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you can somehow save the money that you're saving on Amazon while at the same time taking a penny out of their pockets and giving it to us, well, you're screwing the man,
right?
And then you're helping out the little guys like us,
right? And then if you don't shop on Amazon, you can go to patreon.com/section328 and kick some money to the network, just straight to us. That way you don't have to feel like you're subverting the system to give us money. You can just give it straight to us. We also we appreciate that as well.
And there are perks there for Patreons. It's mainly focused on the Section 328 hockey related stuff, but we're going to be working on some stuff there.
Yeah. Cool.
Once we come up with some brainstorming ideas and
by
get
Mania,
together at the
by WrestleMania, we're gonna have perks.
Okay,
I'm laying it down right now. So Mike and Derek, I know you're listening. We need perks.
We'll brainstorm something this weekend, maybe.
Oh yeah,
or maybe tomorrow. As you're listening to this podcast today, we'll be planning, because we'll be sitting in a parking lot potentially.
I'll still be drunk probably.
That may be. We don't know. Who can predict the future?
Right.
Not I.
So Tom, the only reason I'm not, God bless America. Am
I going to have to take the lead tonight?
No, I got this.
Okay.
So I'm also drunk because there were 3 events this week. We had Fastlane and Smackdown and Raw, and we're going to talk about them all.
I will do my early spoiler analysis here, in which JC, as we were going over quickly the events that happened this week, and I was talking about Raw and Smackdown, and JC goes, "Don't forget Fastlane." And I went, "Oh, right. That shows you how eventful that particular
That's where most of my
was.
ranting will happen. Absolutely. Because I thought Fastlane was meh, Raw was decent, and then I didn't watch Smackdown this week because I'm a terrible wrestling fan.
And you actually missed some interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
Or actually, there's a lot more interesting stuff after SmackDown, but you should know that by now.
Yeah. Well, let's kick it off. We'll go chronologically, I guess. We'll start with Sunday. We'll start with Fastlane.
Right, Fastlane. Forgot about that again.
Wow, that was a quick 30 seconds, Tom.
It's brain injuries. What do you want? Too many chair shots in the 90s.
All right, Foley, comment.
They say you're supposed to take it at the crown of your head.
Oh.
Anyway,
as far as Fastlane goes, boy, I thought that show was a shit show.
Let's pick out something good from it. There's a segment on Cage Side. Oh, what is it? What is it? The SB Nation one, Cage Side Seats, where they've been doing a thing every once in a while. It's like, let's say something nice about, and then it's a particular wrestler or event or something like that.
They stole my gimmick. Is that what you're saying? They stole my hockey gimmick? God damn it.
But see, without the backhanded compliments, these are supposed to be just straight positive things that you can find. So I will look through the Fastlane card right now, and I will try to find a positive. And I will say that, well, I know one that you might lean towards, but I actually enjoyed, with the exception, and I didn't necessarily have a problem so much with the finish. I know you did, but with the Roman Reigns Braun Strowman match in general, that was a good big man match. I mean, and Strowman still to this day, each week, I think, impresses me with his ability to work, and he's just gotten so much better over time. I know I'm beating a dead horse with this, and Roman, as much as people want to hate him for sometimes legitimate reasons, Roman can work. And the two of them put on a very good match. I wouldn't call it an excellent match, but it was a very good match. And when 17 minutes. It was the longest match on the card. And yeah, the finish probably wasn't what we wanted. And Strowman takes the fall. And I mean, on one side, you could say, well, it was Strowman's own fault for doing the top rope spot and then missing the top rope spot, allowing Reigns to hit the spear and get the finish. But ideally, if you want to give Reigns the win, to give him that bump or whatever for Mania, maybe involve something on the outside where Strowman misses something or does whatever, and Reigns uses something on the outside, maybe hits the spear into the barricade or something like that, and does something more eventful than Strowman jumping off the top rope and missing a spot.
Yeah. It was a really good match. I enjoyed it until the finish, which I 100% understand why they did what they did, especially now that we know the track is Roman versus Taker. Like, after all, like, I get that. I understand why he won. I will be as okay with it as I possibly can. But after the brawl they had at the contract signing on the Go Home Raw, I had kind of hoped they were going to add a stip of some kind to it, whether it was Falls Count Anywhere or no DQ, whatever you want to call it, street fight. Who the hell cares?
A Raleigh street fight.
Yeah, but the brutality that was added by them being able to go all around that area, and I guess they kind of did it with the table spot and everything at Fastlane. To have that fully unleashed and fully capable as part of their arsenal for what they could have put together in that match, I think would have benefited them greatly. It would have taken that match and taken it from good to great, I think.
Right.
But like I said, I have no complaints about that match whatsoever. Reigns is, for better or worse, no matter what people want to say, incapable of having a bad match on pay-per-view. Strowman is easily the most improved in the last 12 months in the entire company. And like I said, I know where they're going. I know that, all right, well, Strowman's got to eat the pin because we got to build Roman for Taker. But at the same time, like, all right, so we built, and it's the same issue with the Sasha Banks Nia Jax match. You've built these monsters and built these monsters and built these monsters. They lose at Fastlane, and then there's nothing for them after that.
Now, see, if you want to segue into Sasha Nia Jax, I wouldn't have had a problem with that finish had we not foreshadowed Sasha's turn a little bit early and had her pull some tights.
Well, they botched the finish of that match. I mean, it's clear. To me, it's obvious. Because Sasha did it right at the very end after the 3 count was finished. She reaches back and grabs that middle rope behind her. Okay. That they should have been... the positioning was off. I don't know whether it was where Nia was positioned originally or if Sasha didn't roll her back far enough or she forgot. Who the hell knows? But I think that finish was botched and Sasha should have grabbed the rope to begin with. And that should have led to the 1, 2, 3.
And that would have worked well because, I mean, again, that foreshadows Sasha's eventual heel turn. I mean, it's Sasha's true colors, realistically. I mean, if you watched her NXT and everything like that, she's a heel that's been put into the face role just because, well, there are no damn women's faces on Raw or SmackDown pretty much, except for Bayley, and on SmackDown they've got Becky Lynch. So, yeah, you've got 2 faces out of like 14 girls on the roster. So Sasha just kind of falls in there by default.
Yeah. And if that finish wasn't botched, I just gave them the ending they should have used.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah. A tight pull or, grabbing the ropes or something along those lines. Because Nia looked strong. Nia looked strong the entire match, which is how she should have. And that was, I mean, not to go, I mean, I was going to say not to go back to Flair, because I go back to Ric Flair pretty much each week when I go over certain people's ring styles and mannerisms, but Flair's pretty much textbook heel, the way he would work, and he was such a great worker to begin with. But just how Flair would work as a champion against these much larger people, like if we go back to like the Crockett days, like a Nikita Koloff or the Road Warriors or somebody like that, somebody who was much larger than him, it was, you always thought, okay, well, the bigger wrestler is just going to dominate him, but Flair would always outsmart them because either he cheated or he was just that much smarter of a veteran to take advantage of certain things, take advantage of a referee out of position, that type of thing. And that's the type of thing that Sasha kind of needed to do in that match. And to get beaten around, keep the strong person looking strong, but still getting the pinfall that she needed in order to get her into this triple threat for Mania. It could have been better, but it was what we got, and with the limitations of the workers that we were dealing with. But
yeah,
the finish was what it, I guess, needed to be to lead into Raw and eventually Mania.
Yeah. All right, let's just go through each match on the card.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna include the pre-show match
which is a shame, because that was one of the better matches. But
it was, but okay, it was a cruiserweight tag: Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa versus the Brian Kendrick Noam Dar. It was good
with
Alicia Fox.
No.
Alicia Fox. There you go.
There we go. I mean, use the gimmick.
It's not my gimmick to use. Yeah, it was fine. It was good.
I'm a Tozawa mark, so I just love it.
Can he stop the yelling thing, though? Whoever backstage, and I have a feeling it was Michael Hayes, was like, you really have to go out there and go, ha, 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 every time. Please tell him to stop, because it's terrible.
Well, instead of doing that, just do all your promos with your mouthpiece in.
Oh, God. Like he did on Raw.
That was great. It was like, wait, is he intentionally trying to sound like a stereotypical? Oh, he's got the mouthpiece in. I get it.
Oh, he would have sounded like that anyway.
Hey,
the opener: Samoa Joe defeats Sami Zayn with the Coquina Clutch in 9 minutes and 45 seconds, and easily the most disappointing match of the night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the shine on Joe's. He's not the wrestler that he was, and I think we're going to run into that a lot, because with certain matchups, like with Zayn and maybe potentially with, like, say, Rollins down the line, or like these dream matchups that you potentially want to have with Joe, this isn't TNA Joe. This isn't like Ring of Honor Joe. This is 2017 mildly limited Joe, where you're going to get a decent match from him to a good match with him, but you're not going to get the great matches.
Well, he's working the WWE style now, which is designed to make sure you can do this 5 nights a week and not kill yourself. It's not the indie style.
Yeah, I mean, and again, Joe's knees, you can see, like, man's got knee braces bigger than mine. It's like, one of these days, just his legs he's gonna like explode like an old G.I. Joe, where like his legs will go in one direction and his arms in another once that rubber band snaps. So,
Jesus. Well, in case you were wondering why that match only went 9 minutes, we'll get to that shortly, because we had to make time for other things, apparently. But the next match was the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line, where Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson defeated Enzo and Big Cass in a really good tag match.
Enzo and Cass are
stale.
Yeah, well, from an interview standpoint, I mean, catchphrases are catchphrases, but the thing that I think gets overlooked with them a lot is they are a very old school tag team, where Enzo is the Ricky Morton face in peril. And Big Cass is just waiting for his 2 minutes of offense to go in there. And Enzo just gets beaten severely for the majority of the match. The one thing that annoys me about, and it's every match, is that Enzo will die for 9 minutes of a match.
Right.
Struggling to get the tag, gets pulled back, gets work, gets his head taken off, takes like hellacious bumps, finally gets free, dives for the tag to Cass. Cass comes in, hits partner 1, hits partner 2, hits his elbow or whatever it is to knock the guy down. Then what does he do? He tags back in Enzo to do the throw you off the top rope deal.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
you just died for 10 minutes. Give the man a minute to breathe.
Yeah. It's really formulaic. It would have worked in the 80s in the WWF. I don't know that it fits now. It worked in NXT. Again, and I think we have a lot of, well, it worked in NXT, why doesn't it work here? I.e. Tyler Breeze, Adam Rose, The Ascension. But they've got
about 4 podcasts worth of arguments right there.
God, yeah. They've just got to vary up the promo a little bit too, and the structure of everything. It's just getting really tired. And I love them. I love them both. And they both play their role really well. But it's the exact same formula every time.
Well, the thing is, Enzo's an entertaining talker. He is a very good talker. And Cass is actually an underrated mic worker, to the point where he works really well off of Enzo, because Enzo's ridiculous and Cass is a pretty good straight man, where he just does like between the facial reactions or whatever, it just kind of knocks him back down into place. And it's amusing when they go back and forth. If you look at some of their NXT like promo packages and like when they introduced Carmel and that type of thing, I mean, Cass is entertaining. He was more entertaining than Enzo was.
Yeah.
And, it was just, I don't know. Yeah, it would be nice to mix it up a little bit. And I think it's not necessarily Enzo and Cass's fault. It's some producer's fault. It's going, no, you need to say the catchphrase.
Yep.
You need to do point 1, point 2, point 3. This is all the things that we need. Please, while you're there, mention this, mention that.
Oh, it's not even bullet points. It's that I think they're being given the exact things they need to say. Especially Cass.
There may be a little bit of fear, too, with Enzo, because if they kind of let Enzo go, God knows what the hell he's going to say. Because he's already had a couple of promos where he's gone, I'll say, slightly off the rails.
Rogue.
And you go back and you look at captions or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck did he just say?
Yeah.
I feel really old listening to him sometimes. Like, is there some lingo I don't understand? I mean, I'm from that area. I should know a lot of these references, and he's not that much younger than I am, but I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
But yeah, and then we got that rematch on Raw, right? And it was the same shit over again. Just like...
Well, that's what a lot of Raw is. We just had a pay-per-view, but let's redo the matches.
Raw is rematch.
Yeah.
We already covered Sasha beating Nia. And then we got to the weirdest point of the night, which I missed part of the pre-show. So apparently there was a pre-show angle where Jinder and Rusev had a breakup in front of Foley, and Foley said, fine, you'll both have singles matches. So Jinder Mahal, who is suspiciously vascular, faced Cesaro.
He's going to work for the WBF soon.
Oh, God. He's going to be on all that Ico Pro.
He's going to be loaded up with Ico Pro.
Yeah, Cesaro beats Mahal in an 8-minute match that nobody thought they were going to see and certainly didn't want to see based on the crowd reaction. And then Big Show beat Rusev in 8 minutes as well. What the hell? Why were they taking up 6 16 minutes of the show with this. I mean, I know why they took up 60 minutes of the show with this instead of giving it to, splitting it with Joe and Sammy and Neville and Jack Gallagher could have used a few more minutes, even though that was a great match. We'll get to that.
You mean we didn't need 13 minutes for the main event?
God, no. They
Spoiler.
used more time than they needed anyway. But
yeah.
What was the thought process behind adding these two completely random who gives a shit matches into the middle of the show?
And what sucks about it too is, I mean, Cesaro over Jinder Mahal's fine. I mean, no one wanted to watch it, but the end result is fine. Cesaro
it was
wins.
awful. It was an awful match.
Yeah, and if that just kind of gives you an example. If Cesaro has an awful match, that shows you how bad it is, because that man's practically incapable of having a bad match.
Right.
But,
for sure.
I mean, the end result-wise is fine. What annoys me is the fact that Big Show, who should only be coming out every once in a while to do random stuff, and he's kind of winding down, and I don't think we're doing a 10 count this week, but it's been announced that Show did an interview with some podcast or something where he pretty much says that his contract is out February 2018 and he's done.
Right.
So this is his victory lap pretty much. So he should be coming out. He should be doing the occasional squashes or whatever, and, a highlight type match, or, hit like the major pay-per-views or whatever. But there's no reason for him to beat the shit out of Rusev, which is what he did. He hit 2 choke slams and then proceeded to give him the super duper punch of doom, like prone in the corner, not like out of nowhere. Like he just punched him straight in the face, like in the corner, which, okay, that just seemed like a punishment match for Rusev. Like,
well, because he got a haircut, so
you got a haircut and you parked in the wrong parking spot, and apparently there's still heat on Lana from 2.5 years ago or whatever. So, but yeah, that did nothing except whatever. It's like,
it happened. It had zero payoff the next day. We didn't see Big Show on Monday. We didn't see Rusev or Jinder Mahal on Monday. We did see Cesaro and Sheamus, but like, who gives a shit? is my main part of this entire thing. There was no payoff here. Like it was just a thing they threw in, which I hate.
What I was disappointed too is before he threw his punch, Show starts to pull down his singlet type thing, and I wanted him to pull it down far enough where he just goes, "Look at my abs!"
Yeah.
But he stopped just short of the 6-pack. It's like, be proud of that, son.
He's getting there. Wait till Mania. He's got another month.
Where he co-hosts with
The New Day. I'd be really down for that, actually.
And just proceeds to eat all the fucking ice cream and get back to 500 pounds.
He just dives into that fucking bicycle cooler.
The ice cream that is not ice cream.
Yeah. See at Mr. Workrate on Twitter for more explanation. All right. Then we had the best wrestling match of the night. The Cruiserweight Championship match. Neville retained the Cruiserweight Championship against gentleman Jack Gallagher. I've watched Jack Gallagher for a while now, so I know what he's capable of. But holy hell, this was a good match.
That man likes pain, doesn't he? Gallagher works stiff as hell and takes shots, man. For a little pasty British ginger, he wants you to pop him.
Oh, if you want to see a good representation of that, and I can't remember what chapter of Progress it's from, but there is a match between him and Zach Gibson, who is easily twice his size in height and body weight, where he just gets the shit beaten out of him for 20 minutes. Find it and watch it. demand-progress.com, or I'm not going to tell you to use nefarious means because I love progress too much, but yeah.
I'll just go over your house.
Yeah, just come over. Just borrow my subscription, Tom.
I'll bring some Haichu.
This match was all right. You're always welcome when you bring Haichu.
Yeah,
but
okay,
it was so good. Neville, he ends the match with a red arrow, which at first when I saw him setting up for it, I was like, I hate that because that's such a face move. But he established himself as such a heel over the last month that's finally not a face move.
I need to talk about that damn move.
All right, go ahead.
Because when I watched it, and I mentioned it on Twitter too, like, every law of physics says that you can only fall at a certain rate of speed. Like, you can't, it's impossible to fall harder than gravity will take you. But like, Neville is the man that gravity forgot or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like, now Neville is the man that gravity, like, he made gravity his bitch, because like, he went up for that red arrow and it's like he decided midway through, like, I will come down as hard as physically possible. And he just, now I know he didn't come down any harder, but it was just that after effect when he hit that red arrow and just flipped up and just hung there for a second, like, for that extra emphasis, like, yes, I did that. And just fell over. It was just like, that was the most like ending to like a move. It's like, right. I marked so hard for that. I'm like, yes, that's the heel red arrow. That's the black arrow.
There you go. Neville's heel run here, which reinvigorated the cruiserweight division before the turn of Austin Aries on Monday. Hallelujah. The return, I should say. His heel work has been impeccable. Like, I guess when he was a heel in the feud with Sami Zayn in NXT, you know, it was just, he kind of belittled Sami a bit, and he's like, yeah, but it wasn't just, I'm going to be a total dick all the time like it is now. And he's so good in this role, Tom. He's so good at it. I love it.
Since I like talking about spots, I just want to mention one other spot where he turned around and like landed over it and just hit this like lightning release German on Gallagher. It was just the quickest. I mean, Akira Tozawa looked at that and was like, damn. It was just so quick. He just floated over and it was like, it was just, there's a GIF of that somewhere, and I just keep watching it over and over again.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's honestly, I think this cruiserweight run and the heel turn has bumped up Neville's like work a little bit too, because again, he's working with people that can do the style that he can. He's not on the main roster where he's attempting to work with like Apollo Crews or, you know, some 290-pound guy who can't do the stuff that he can. He's getting to do the moves that he can against workers that are at the level that he is, and it's raising his game up a little bit, and we're all benefiting from it.
Yeah, if you go back and watch any Pac match from his indie days, you can tell he's definitely more in his element in that style, which is the cruiserweight style, than working the straight WWE style. But yeah, we covered Roman Reigns beating Strowman. All right, then we had the real shit show, Tom. The women's championship match.
I will yell as much as you will in this.
Oh, I know.
Because I'm possibly as angry as you are.
My personal feelings aside from being maybe one of the biggest Charlotte Flair marks on the planet. So Bayley wins this match. We'll go ahead and, spoiler alert, Bayley wins and retains her championship and breaks Charlotte's 15-0 undefeated streak in pay-per-views.
No, I didn't care.
In title matches. Anyway. So the match starts. Charlotte comes out with Dana. she immediately dismisses Dana because she's going to do it alone, which is the ultimate babyface move, right?
Oh, she did it in such a heel way, though.
Right. But that's
she
a
made
baby
Dana feel shame.
Right, but that's a babyface thing to be like, I'm going to go it alone. Yes. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Making sure I wasn't missing the mark there.
Nope.
Bayley comes out, they have a match. They wrestle, whatever. Sasha comes out and proceeds to call Charlotte out for grabbing the tights, distract Charlotte to where she can't make a pin, and all of these things to where Charlotte's finally just enraged with Sasha to the point where she's losing her fucking mind on her while she's outside the ring, and Bayley ends up getting the win on a Bayley to belly. What the hell was his finish, Tom?
It was the Hogan finish. Like, back in the 80s, early 90s, or whatever, when you would have villainous heel take on, I don't know, Beefcake, Hillbilly Jim, whoever was Hogan's buddy at the time, Face Savage, whatever it was. And the heel would do all the stuff, and Hogan would come out, and Hogan would point out, he's cheating or whatever, and it would piss off the heel. Then Hogan would break pretty much every rule possible. He'd grab, like, the face's foot and put it on the ropes and be like, his foot's on the ropes. And everybody would cheer because that was the time that people cheered for Hogan and he could break every rule and it was okay. But yeah, that stuff doesn't fly anymore. It didn't fly in like 97 and it's not flying now. And it's confusing as hell because, yeah, they drop the pay-per-view streak thing, which, I wasn't totally 100% behind, but, whatever. It was a thing that happened. It's something that happened probably a couple matches ago where you turned around and you looked and you're like, oh, you know what? There's actually a streak going on. Nobody realized it until they actually looked at it and they're like, oh, cool, we can build off of this. And then you build off of it, but then you throw it away on a B-level pay-per-view instead of saving it for Mania. Because that's really the angle. Like, Charlotte's the big game wrestler. She's obviously going to take her title back at Mania because that's when she does these things. Or I was pissed before when Bayley won the title in the first place and then ended up keeping it totally against her nature. To have her do this crap now and to have her kind of like, again, on Raw, spoiler there, shrug it off and be like, well, whatever, I'm still champion, It's so unlike her character, and it's making Charlotte, like, be identifiable with the crowd. The crowd's going, you know what? Yeah, Charlotte is getting screwed. Why should we support?
Bayley got booed in Chicago Monday night when she came out because people realized what a bullshit fucking ending it was on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, and then, and I totally skipped this part. I went back into my Twitter timeline to find it, but as soon as Sasha came out, she started beating on Charlotte. That should have been a DQ. I have the book of rules. It says it's a DQ. What the hell was that? It was so overbooked and so convoluted. I know they were working to build towards this triple threat. I get that. And that's the best way to get the most talent on Mania and give them the most bang for their buck on the grandest stage of them all. I understand that. But there has to be a more coherent way to get there than just be like, we'll have, Bayley be this wishy-washy, terrible character, and then we'll have Sasha show up and interfere, but she's just doing it for Bayley, so she's still a baby face. And then Charlotte looking like the ultimate baby face because she keeps getting screwed by the people who are actually supposed to be baby faces.
And here's how simple you could have fixed Fastlane. So you have Charlotte take on Bayley. You have the exact same thing happen, but instead of Sasha and maybe Sasha comes out, maybe not, or whatever. So maybe Sasha comes out and just maybe she does commentary. Maybe she's just, cheering along because, she's supportive. But instead, maybe Charlotte has the win in hand, whether it's, she's got the figure 8 on or she hits natural selection. Maybe she did it by nefarious means. Maybe she pulled out a foreign object and hit, did something wrong that Sasha needs to correct or whatever. Sasha runs in, gets Bayley DQ'd because, damn it, Charlotte shouldn't win the title, but deep down inside, Sasha wants to take on Bayley because Sasha feels that she can beat Bayley. Get the DQ. Therefore, Charlotte wins, keeps the streak intact, keeps the belt on Bayley, and then still shows that heelish kind of nature where you can turn around in Raw the following night and have Bayley be like, you didn't need to do that. Why are you doing this? Do you not think that, I can handle things on my own? And maybe Sasha's like, maybe not or whatever. But you kind of build off of that where you don't lose the streak because then Charlotte turns around and goes, well, I want both of them in the match because screw it. If you're going to keep interfering in my match, I want you in the match so that I can beat both of you. And then, we booked that better, but oh well.
Yeah.
You guys do what you did.
That's how it should have been, for sure. Building the streak up over the last couple months like they have to waste it here was absolutely ludicrous. It did no one any favors. It didn't help Charlotte. It didn't build Bayley. I just don't understand.
You've got no heat going into Mania now.
Nope.
None.
0. Anyway.
Everybody's just going to wait for Sasha to do the turn because everyone's expecting it now and whatever.
Yep. Pretty much. And I expect that at Mania. Maybe Sasha wins the title off Bayley by being a dick. I don't know. We'll see. We got time. But that's my prediction as of right now.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Then to the shortest match of the night and the main event of the evening. Goldberg is your new WWE Universal Champion as he defeats Kevin Owens in 21.65 seconds due to the distraction of Chris Jericho's presence and music. So this match starts. They both make their entrance. Before the bell ever rings, Owens powders. He walks around the ring for a minute, gets back in the ring. He powders again, walks around the ring, gets back in the ring. Ref gets ready to ring the bell after Owens tells him he's ready. Jericho's music hits. Owens turns to look. The bell rings. Owens realizes the bell rings, turns to look at Goldberg. Spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. It's completely what we expected here, and I mean, it was fine. I don't want Goldberg to be champion in 2017, but I'll get to why they did this in a minute. But
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
It annoyed me at first. Looking back at it again, I'm better with it. Yeah, the end result. I don't want a strap on Goldberg. I don't want a belt on Goldberg. I don't want whatever term Vince McMahon hates on Goldberg. But the way that they did it, I mean, because it still seemed like Owens came off like he had a plan. Like he had this whole strategy of, I'm going to go in the ring. I'm going to screw with your head. I'm going to go out. I'm going to, he had this plan and he got distracted for a couple of seconds, and that's all it takes to hit the one move. And I disagree with you because you said he hit spear and jackhammer. That was a spear and a suplex. The man can't even do a jackhammer anymore.
Good point. He didn't suspend him for very long. Actually, at all.
It was the weakest ass suplex. Like Davey Boy Smith's dead ass could still do a suplex better than that.
So here
he used to do long suplexes.
Yeah. So here's what they're building to. And this kind of covers the major news from Raw, where Undertaker returns and challenges Roman Reigns in the traditional method of both of them looking at the WrestleMania sign at the same time. Clearly what happened...
Point to it. Point to the sign.
No, or if you're Goldberg, you just look at it and get a long camera shot to where you can tell he's looking at it.
Sweat uncontrollably.
Yeah. Goldberg has beaten Kevin Owens here to get the title. Lesnar will defeat Goldberg at WrestleMania. That prediction, for me, will not change between now and April 2nd. I'm telling you that right now. Roman Reigns will defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. That prediction will also not change between now and April 2nd. Now, Roman Reigns has beaten the monster Braun Strowman. He's also beaten the only man to ever he'll have beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And then he will go on to Brooklyn in August to beat the only man to have ever beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania to regain the or I guess not regain because he's never held the Universal title, but to take the WWE Universal Championship off of Brock Lesnar. 3 years in the making. Vince is finally going to do it. That's the entire plan here. Right?
I guess.
It makes so much... It's so obvious.
It's just gotten to the point now that I don't care anymore with Roman. And it's not
sad.
a knock on him because he's doing all the things that he's supposed to do. I mean, he's not turning around and going, guys, maybe the other guy should go over. No, it's not his choice to make. It's, of course he's going to go over if that's what he's being told to do. And that's fine. And he's not being told to be a face. He's not going, well, I'm going to be a face anyway. You want to make me a heel, I'm going to be a face. It's he's doing the best he can with the cards he's being dealt. And he's having decent matches. And, he's doing what he needs to do.
Oh, for sure.
And
I said this earlier. He's incapable of having a bad match on pay-per-view.
And he's going to end up taking the title because, that's the thing. And maybe, and I think that's the only thing that's going to get the crowd off his ass, maybe somewhere down the line. And it's been hinted at, turn the man heel. Just do it.
They're not going to, though. And they're just not going to, especially when the long play here is putting him up against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in August. Which, one, awful idea, because then we're going to have a 4-month part-time champion again. Kill me now. And then two, because no one wants to accept Roman Reigns as a babyface. And not because they don't want to accept Joanna Y as the babyface. I honestly believe people like him as a worker. They like him as a personality. When you see him give any kind of interview or anything where he's not being given the ridiculous writing he's being given by Vince, he is great. They don't want to accept the character of Roman Reigns as the top babyface in WWE because of the way it has been built and the way it has just been pushed without any regards to building him to that level. Just like, oh, he left the Shield. Great. He's the best guy in the company. It just doesn't make any sense. And people aren't going to accept it. And they're going to continue to force it all the way through August.
It's Rocky Maivia again, but it's lasted for 2 years.
Oh, God, it's worse.
It's not going to end.
Exactly.
Because with Rocky, they at least turned around. They did the same stuff to him as they're doing to Roman now. And the crowd hated it. And it was insincere. And they just kind of realized, okay, well, this just isn't working. And they stuck him in the Nation where he could kind of blend in with the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm. Well, he found
himself. he turned around and he ran with it.
Yep.
Because they've let him be him. And that's what has to happen with Roman too, is they have to, not necessarily he has to be in a group, but they have to turn around and let Roman go off script. And that's never going to happen.
Nope. All right, Tom, we're starting to run long here a little bit. So I'm going to go.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, right? That never happens on this show. So that covers Fastlane and pretty much Raw, except for the only other important thing in my mind that came out of Raw was the Seth Rollins rehab video package that they should have done months ago when he got hurt the first time, which they should have done to build him as a babyface, but thank God they did it now. And the Triple H video package, or the Triple H interview, I should say, that was all very well done in an attempt to build him as an actual babyface this time. So kudos, WWE.
But we weren't going to make him a babyface the last time.
I know. But they're obviously at least mildly trying this time, so I can't wait till they cock it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that happened. All right. Tom, I didn't watch Smackdown or Talking Smack, so I need you to give me the highlights.
Okay, so quick kind of rundown.
I have no idea what happened either. I've looked at no spoilers, so I'm going to genuinely react as you tell me things.
Okay, so they had the Carmella, James Ellsworth, John Cena, Nikki Bella match.
That's right. I forgot that happened. Okay. All right, go on.
Which I didn't watch that much of. I watched a little bit of highlights. I kind of cut in later with it, but from what I saw, it was apparently adorable because John Cena and Nikki Bella together are adorable. They like each other and they hug and they kiss each other. Tom? Oh yeah, it was wonderful. But anyway, so they kind of did stereo moves, and Nikki Bella did the 5-knuckle shuffle, and
okay, I have to go back and watch that.
It was the greatest mixed tag team match of 4 people wearing ball caps that you could find.
I'm assuming John Cena and Nikki Bella won.
Yes.
Okay.
We get
LOL, Mr. and Mrs. Cena win.
Yes. We get a Kurt Hawkins promo because, of course.
Wait.
Kurt Hawkins
They let him talk
off.
on TV?
Kurt Hawkins is pissed because he didn't get an opportunity against Dean Ambrose. So Dean Ambrose comes out.
Why would he get one?
And destroys him again, proceeds to take the mic, starts calling out Corbin. Corbin's like, "Oh no, you can't find me. I don't want you right now. I'm too busy for you." And Dean Ambrose is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go look for you." So anyway, Dean drops the mic, he proceeds to roll out. Hawkins is at ringside at this point, still pissed off, and Ambrose gives him dirty deeds, and then walks away again because Kurt Hawkins.
We're going to have to see him at that house show, aren't we?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
And it's going to be 11 minutes.
Please tell me it's him versus Asuka so I don't care about either of them and I can leave.
That's when you buy your merch. So Dean Ambrose goes searching for Kurt Hawkins.
God, why the fuck? All right.
Not for Hawkins. I'm sorry. He goes looking for.
Okay, good. I was
Corbin.
like, whoa. All right.
he found Hawkins. Hawkins is dead.
All right. Finally.
We get a Mojo Rawley interview, of course, and he brings up his best bud Zack Ryder in the WrestleMania moment, and that's when Mojo announces that he's going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and we've got one entry. So
I was going to say, that's the first official entry. All right. Cool. It's a perfect place for him.
Then Ziggler kind of made fun of Mojo because, well, he pretty much announced that he's going to be in a Battle Royal, so I'd make fun of him too.
Good point.
So then Dean Ambrose we go back to Dean looking for people for Baron Corbin, and Baron attacks him with a pipe because this is a giant game of Clue. Then he proceeds to put him under a forklift and then lowers the forklift fork part onto Ambrose. literally killing him.
Jesus.
He's dead now.
That's assault. I think you get arrested for that shit, right?
So we had arson last week, and we have murder this week.
How many felonies can we fit on SmackDown?
Like, Daniel Bryan's going to jail because he just encourages all of this.
Oh, God. All right. Continue.
So,
on.
like, people, referees come out, they're freaking out, but
because they're licensed forklift
how
operators.
how do we lift this fork?
There's not a switch.
So whatever.
Okay.
We get an Alexa Bliss segment.
All right.
Where she comes out with Mickie James, and she decides that she's going to announce who's going to be her opponent for WrestleMania.
Can I stop you there? Because they did that same shit on Raw of being like, oh, the women's champion's going to announce who her opponent at Mania is. When did that become the standard? Of letting the freaking champion call their shots? That's new, right? That's not been a thing before.
I can segue into that in a minute.
Ooh, okay. Continue
but,
on. I did not mean to interrupt.
So Alexa Bliss cuts a pretty good promo where she pretty much says, well, I need an opponent for WrestleMania. It's not going to be Naomi because she's feeling the ow. It's not Nikki Bella. It's not going to be Carmella because she's being taken care of by her chinless troll under a bridge. And it's not going to be Becky Lynch. And so Becky comes out and Natalya comes out and everybody's like, oh. Then we realized that Mickie James thought that she was going to be the person. And Alexa's like, yeah, I don't know who's actually going to be. But it wasn't going to be you either. And then Mickie James gets a little bit pissed off. So we get Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan says pretty much, well, if you're not going to pick your person that you're going to wrestle at WrestleMania, in much like Friends fashion, you now will wrestle everyone as your title match. Literally, the match is Alexa Bliss against any available SmackDown women's wrestler.
Eva Marie's coming back to win, right?
God, we can only hope so.
Please, God. All right, so Mickie James is face now? Did she turn?
Possibly.
Okay.
I think that's the direction. It's weird because they did a tag match where Becky teamed with Natalya because Natalya and Big Show have been exchanging ideas about faces and heels.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
all right. What next?
Mickie attacked Alexa, but Natty attacked Becky Lynch. Yeah. No one knows.
Okay. Randy Orton and AJ Styles was the only thing left on the card, yes?
Yep. So okay. AJ cut his promo, talks about arson pretty much. They had a really good match. Near the end, AJ goes to do the springboard whatever and proceeds to start to jump, and Orton goes to hit the RKO and pretty much just falls down because AJ head faked him. Ooh. So it was just falling down in the middle of the ring, which was hysterical. but then for whatever reason, AJ forgot the concept of it's not like he fell this great amount of great length or anything like that. So he tried to do the springboard 450, which Orton rolled out of the way and then popped AJ up and hit the RKO anyway, got the 3 count, and Randy Orton is your new number 1 contender. Cool. Which ended SmackDown. The one other thing of note is that on Talking Smack, I'll just leave it at this because I'm not going to be able to do it justice. Miz and Maurice were on Talking Smack.
Okay.
So you want to listen to that.
Oh, yeah. Always.
Because they just proceeded to go off on Daniel Bryan and
Of course.
Cena and Nikki Bella. Things were said about Nikki Bella and her possible relationships with others, whatever.
No.
But yeah, there were a lot of things said, and you just need to take the time to. It was about 8.5 minutes of straight fire.
Ooh. All right, I'll go back and watch Talking Smack.
So just go back and watch what's probably the best show on WWE television now that Edge and Christian is second season has not hit our WWE network yet.
Until that comes back.
Yeah.
Cool. That show sounded like it started terribly and then ended okay.
Yeah, I mean, SmackDown is what it's going to be. I mean, it's still a relatively limited roster, so
yeah, that's always going to be their biggest issue.
They kind of worked with what they worked with, and again, outside of the attempted murder and James Ellsworth actually having a match.
Yeah, fun. I think that about does it then, Tom. Right? I think we're almost right at an hour yet again.
Yeah. Yeah, and before Skype kicks out again, we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah. Cool. Let's wrap up then, Tom. Tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
You want to go to Twitter, where you can find me at Mr. Workrate, MR Workrate. I'm on the other social medias, but you don't want to do anything with those, and I really don't understand a lot of them anyway, so just stick with Twitter. That's what I know.
Yep, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram and occasionally Snapchat at JC Bobbitt, JCBB, motherfucker, I'm drunk. JCBOBBITT. That's where you can find me. The technical issues were not caused by my alcohol use this evening, I promise. Anyway, that's where you can find That's where you can find me. You've already found this podcast, but if you found us on iTunes, be sure to rate and review us. Give us 5 stars. You can also subscribe on iTunes through Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and we're on YouTube, too, if you want to stare at just a static image while you're listening to this show. Also,
maybe you do.
We mentioned this at the top of the day, but, if you're doing any shopping on Amazon.com, be sure to go to section328.com, which is our parent site. Click the buy on Amazon button, and we get a little kickback. It doesn't cost you any extra, but it helps us keep the show and the websites and everything up and running, including the website cheatersneverpin.com, where you can read Tom's retro wrestling reviews and an interesting article I'm working on if I ever get it finished, instead of just going deeper down the LexisNexis research hole that I'm in right now.
Yeah, and as for the retro wrestling thing, I've mentioned it on the actual recaps that I do. But if you have an idea for a retro wrestling recap that you'd like to see me do, just hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Workrate, and just let me know one that you'd be interested in, whether it be a WWE, WWF, WCW, an old ECW show, whatever. And I'll dissect it and kind of go over it. And
I got one for you.
What one?
Halloween Havoc 99.
99. All right. Been meaning to do a WCW one, and I've been meaning to have something up for Friday, so maybe this Friday. We'll see.
Yeah, I might finish my article tomorrow, too. Anyway, I think that I covered everything, right?
I'm pretty sure
Patreon.com/section328. Give us money. If you don't want to buy things through Amazon, just straight up give us your money.
I'm sure there's merch over there, too. There'll be Cheaters Never Pin merch eventually.
Oh, yeah. We gotta
get off my butt and draw something.
Yeah. Damn it, Tom. All right. Anyway, for myself, I'm JC. That's Tom.
That's me.
And I think we're done here tonight. Everyone, have a great week of wrestling. 4 weeks away from WrestleMania.
The road to WrestleMania is short.
It's the ultimate thrill ride.
Whee!